Well, I thought the first thing that we could make for Thanksgiving might be an appetizer. As everybody's sitting around waiting for that turkey to be ready, they're salivating because it smells so good coming from your kitchen, and they know they're just dying to eat. So what can we give them that would be a nice, savory, and a little bit sweet, something to sort of get their appetites rolling? And I thought, how about sautéed dates with almonds? So this is a really simple recipe, and you almost don't need a recipe to make this, but I'm going to show you what to do. We're going to start out with some extra virgin olive oil, the way we start out with just about everything in the Greek Revival Cookbook series. You know, extra virgin olive oil is really salubrious for us. It gives us a lot of life-giving disease prevention properties, and it also just adds really good flavor to our food. So the difference between the standard American diet and the traditional Mediterranean is pretty much this is the central fat. So you're not going to see us using a lot of bacon in our recipes or too much butter, but a lot of olive oil. So we're going to start with that. We're just going to coat the bottom of the pan with extra virgin olive oil. And if you have a little person in your house or a nice sous chef that wants to help you, they can really come around now and help you stuff your dates. So hopefully you've purchased these medjool dates, which are really juicy and delicious. And all we're going to do is we bought them pitted, which means the pit was taken out. And all we're going to do is insert a roasted almond into the date, and you will see the space where the pit was taken out, and then you just insert the almond right in there and kind of close it back up. And you just do that for as many of these as you want to make. So I'm pretty much making this whole bag of dates right here. So you know, it's probably 20 or 30 pieces. And I have already stuffed these ahead of time, but I'm going to give you the time to do them because I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the recipe while you're stuffing, okay? So the medjool dates tend to be larger and juicier, which makes them really nice in this recipe. But if you had somebody else shop for you like I did, and they didn't buy medjool dates, they bought just sort of traditional dates, which are a little bit smaller, the good news is this recipe will really bring them to life. So I'm going to start my olive oil on to about medium high. Wrong burner. Okay, let's try the right burner. By the way, if you haven't been on campus in a while, I'm in the Marriott Laboratory Kitchen, which is brand new and really beautiful here in the Close Hip building, which used to be the old Darla Moore School of Business before we have the new one. It's a really beautiful kitchen, and sometime post-COVID, we'll be able to have cooking classes here in person, which would be really nice. So I'm letting this olive oil warm up. Now, you know, olive oil has kind of a low smoke point, so you don't want this olive oil to burn. So when it starts looking a little squiggly in the pan, you just put in your stuffed dates. It's very simple. And you know, when I buy the almonds, I usually like to buy dry roasted almonds because there's really no need to buy almonds that have been roasted in some other oil. All it does is add calories to the almond, because even if you buy raw ones yourself, you can roast them on a cookie sheet, no problem at all. And the oil will come out of the nut itself, so you don't need to add any other kind of vegetable oil or whatever. And if you roast them yourself, you can add your own flavorings to them, which is really fun too. It's like cinnamon, or if you like spicy things, you might like to put a little cayenne pepper. As you can see, the only thing I'm really doing here is tossing these around because I basically want them to get coated in the olive oil. And what's going to happen is they're going to begin to brown up a little bit. The date is going to soften, and all this juicy, really sweet, delicious flavor is going to come out of the date. And then when you bite into it, you're going to get a nice, salty, crunchy almond flavor. And the one thing I would recommend is when you serve these to your guests, to tell them that they know that these are almonds in here and not the pits, okay? So this is really it. And this is basically what you're going for. Just a little bit of browned dates. So it only takes a minute. And if you were here, you'd be able to start smelling them now. You get that little sweetness coming out of them, so that's something that would be really good. I mean, that's a way of knowing that they're getting close to being done. You don't want to burn them, but you do want them to brown a little bit. So you want to toss them around. Very easy. And I'm going to turn off this flame. It's plenty much. Okay. And then I'm just going to put these here on my serving plate. And if you put a little bit too much oil, like I just did, then you don't want to serve the oil either. So just make sure you kind of let it fall off the dates before you put them on your serving plate. And the nice thing about these is they're great warm, but you don't want anybody to burn their tongue on them. So they're fine at room temperature also. This is a recipe I would make, though, when my friends were there, or my family members are already there. You don't want to make them too much ahead of time because you want them to taste them when they're still soft. And just like anything else, as the air hits them and they sit for a long period of time, they would start to sort of dry up a little bit. So you don't want that to happen. But this is a really very tasty. Somebody that I used to work with in special events, Lisa Robinette, used to say, you know what, these are so great because it has everything you want. It tastes sweet and salty and soft and crunchy. So it has all those things going for it for a little tiny appetizer. Oops, I lost a little date out of there. I mean, a little almond out of that one. So really, you get your little friends, your little relatives to help you stuff these dates. They'll enjoy it. And it will take no time at all to cook them. And then you can have the children pass them around too, which would be really nice. Because everybody wants to get into the loving act of Thanksgiving, even if we're wearing masks, right? Now after I get these all set up on here, I'm just going to sprinkle a little tiny bit of sea salt over them. Because you know this secret is that salt makes sweet things taste sweeter. So I have a little bit of sea salt right here. And I'm not even going to open up this to all the holes being open, just a couple of them, because I don't want to over salt it. So just a little bit right on top. And there you have it. And let me show you what these look like. Some of this out of the way. So here, there we go. This is what our dates look like. Basically, that's all there is to it. Makes a really nice appetizer and it'll get people's appetites rolling for that big Thanksgiving dinner.